How's everybody doing today? I hope you forgive me, Darrell. Awesome. Glad to see you guys are doing great, man. I'm doing nice as well. Had a beautiful trade this morning. Catched a big part of the daily range. I was really happy with how that went. Awesome. I'm glad to see that everyone is doing great today. But on that note, let's dive into the serious stuff. Glad you could make it too, just Al. I do these, and I'm very glad to see you guys in numbers tonight. It it makes me want to do more, right? I see a bunch of you guys joining here, so I just want to take a second to say I appreciate it a lot. We're growing as a community pretty quickly, and I would tell you guys to look out for your Twitter tomorrow because it is going to be crazy. I'm just saying that we're moving along, and let's just say the timeline that I shared in the announcement where I talk about the future plans moved up a little. But enough about Rise. Let's see what happened today, right? Let's analyze our indices. So there's a reason that now I have this open. Just really quickly, you guys can see, right? See my screen? So someone give me a little check. Yes, awesome. All right, so there's a reason I have those IPDA ranges because for those who have been here a while, I don't know if you remember when I talked about divergence in between IPDA ranges. So how old SMT will be targeted for reversals. So I don't want to go too in depth because it's all available on YouTube pretty much. But this right here we have a lot of divergence. Right here we have SMT, and we'd be looking at those for a reversal to at least cause a retracement, right? That's what we were looking at this week. I just wanted to show you guys with the IPDA data ranges because I don't believe we went over that in the daily outlook, in the weekly outlook, sorry. But enough about that. We had a beautiful, beautiful daily range. Just looking at this candle, we had a pretty nice, I don't have my indicator on, but a pretty nice 400 handle day on NASDAQ. I don't know much about the handles on ES, but you can just see from the proportion, we had a very decent day. Just from this weekly outlook, we were looking based on Monday. What did Monday do? Well, Monday expanded higher. All right, so if Monday was a tight range, I could consider that this fair value gap would push us lower. But since Monday expanded, I was thinking, okay, we might be due for retracement, right? We might not be as bullish as I thought. So where am I going to look? Well, I'm going to look in premium. So for now, my current draw is this fair value gap. Could we stop here and reverse? Yeah, 100%. So what's going to tell me this? Well, SMT, right? I'm going to be looking at SMT for both. As you can see right here on ES, the same correlated fair value gap right here, we're pretty close to it on ES. So we could see SMT in that way where SMT forms at this level on NASDAQ while ES trades back into its premium array. But enough about the future. Let's dive deeper into today. And I wanted to start things off on a 4-hour chart because to me, it was just a classic internal to external move. And as you can see right here, for our London low, this is the yesterday's candle, and this is London. So I'm just going to mark out the order block that we can all see. If I can find my template, that's awesome. Gonna mark out, well, we have the new week opening gap. So basically, yesterday what we did is traded back into the new week opening gap, rebalancing it, and then started expanding higher. Once we trade back into this order block, I can understand that we are gonna expand higher if we respect this. And as you can see, we respected our 4-hour order block with the Monday's final candle. I believe that's Asian range candle. And then coming into London, we started expanding higher before 10 a.m. because yes, we had 10 a.m. news. I was not trading beforehand. We closed pretty aggressively above this candle. So I was thinking that we were going to go target buy side. And we also had equal highs on ES at this level. I'm going to mark them out similarly. These ones, so relative equal highs. And semi-relative equal highs, I'm going to mark it out as equal highs actually, just so we can compare both in correlation. But this little, well, pretty much relative equal highs. Let's just call them relative equal highs. But that's what I was looking for. I was looking for an expansion higher to continue on this move where this order block told me everything I needed to know. More so, I had the inversion of this fair value gap, which was a great signal, as well as closing this far above this swing. We're never going to close so aggressively in a 4-hour chart and not go for the next one. So that was just easy targets. And if we go lower into a 1-hour chart, we can see, actually I have the indicator here. I'm going to remove it. Sessions indicator. I was verifying something for tomorrow. If we look at the right here, we'll see that yes, this is not a swing point. We're looking at 1-hour candles. This is not a swing point, but this formed SMT with the swing point on ES. So would I regard that as SMT? Yes, that is divergence. I'm not going to dive deep into it, but it is divergence, so that is additional confluence. More so, we can use this leg as a manipulation leg to grab standard deviation objectives, right? And today was super clean for standard deviations, honestly. So with this confluence right here, I was looking for a move to this, and as you guys know, the best standard deviations are the breaker block standard deviations. If we look at the breaker formed on Monday, diving back down into this higher time frame POI, point of interest, this to me is a high probability breaker that we traded back into it, which also lines up with the 4-hour order block. I'm going to mark it out as such so you guys do not get confused. There we go. Well, pretty much so I don't get confused of too many drawings. But right here with your breaker standard deviations, your reversal range is with this lower time frame, well, ERL, right? This external range liquidity. So it was good confluence pretty much. And the SMT here telling me I'm bound to go higher, closing through this. I was looking for a continuation higher. Just before we dive into the 1-minute chart and looks at the setups that were provided today, do we have a clear understanding? I know I have from every experience level in this call right now, so I'm sorry if I'm boring you. You guys have been doing this for a little longer, but I'm here also for the beginners at the same time, so I just want to make sure that everything is understood before we dive and go look at the 1-minute price action that offered us setups. So just give me a little check. If I don't see any questions, I'm going to keep moving forward. Don't see anyone tapping. All right, I'm going to keep going then. So diving into our 1-minute charts. I'm going to bring NQ to the right because I mainly trade NQ. I don't spend a lot of time trading ES just because I feel like even if ES is the stronger asset, I oftentimes get better risk to reward on NASDAQ. Going forward, as you get bigger fills that you need, right, you're risking more per position. ES is a more liquid asset, so that's definitely better. But just for now, at least for me, I'm concentrating on NASDAQ. So as I said, we had, I believe it was PMI. I might be mistaken, but I think that today our 10 a.m. news was PMI. Might have been actually 9:45 PMI. That was a nice little voice crack. I'm actually going to go double check on Forex Factory. Yeah, 9:45 manufacturing PMI. All right, just wanted to double check real quick. So we had 9:45 news. What are you looking for with this news? Well, I'm looking for a manipulation. Did you have that at this news? Well, no, I just said I was looking for higher prices and we expanded higher on the news. So what am I going to look for? Well, I'm going to look for power of 3. More specifically, at that time, I would be looking for a 10 a.m. power of 3. So I'm going to mark out the 10 a.m. open just so you guys can see how clear and how clean our open low high close was. So if I'm anticipating a bullish candle, I'm looking for price to open, manipulate lower, expand higher, and of course retrace to a close lower, further down the line. But as you can see, super clear, super clean. We had a beautiful open low high close, taking out liquidity at this level. And of course, this is all during macro, right? I'm looking at the 10 a.m. power of 3. Let me just remove these indicators so you guys can see a little bit better, a little more zoomed in. There we go. So as we can see right here, took out liquidity and more so right here, right? What I'm concentrating on is premium and discount. So if I draw the premium and discount of this specific range and I include OTE with it and just draw it out in time, you can see we retraced to OTE, respected our balance price range right here, still respecting this fair value gap, and then expanded higher. Okay, well, this is pretty simple. This tells me that we're going to continue pushing higher. I don't know if there was 1 minute SMT, so I'm actually going to look at it with you guys. So there was not. There was some 15-second SMT. So for myself, for the trade I shared in the Discord, I did enter Turtle Soup this with power of 3, right? That's what I mean when I say I'm taking trades sometimes purely based on time. But I also had my signature by retracing to OT and expanding higher. This was higher probability. 15-second SMT doesn't really matter for me, to be honest. I feel like there's always divergence. And yeah, Charles, you're saying exactly what everyone is probably thinking right now. 4 hours, so you're saying 10 a.m., but I want to generalize it by 4-hour power of 3 is a cheat code. That's how you clarify your idea, especially on a day like this, where if we look at this is a midnight open right here, we only expanded higher, right? This is also what brings confidence to me that this move is a manipulation higher and our weekly expansion will be lower, but we'll have to see with tomorrow, right? Because tomorrow, for me at least, is not a trading day. So we'll have more insight. But just to go more specifically about this specific setup, well, pretty clear, right? Expansion higher. For myself, I entered here. If you did not, and of course I haven't shared my model publicly yet, but that is coming. I'm telling you guys, right here, you have a unicorn. And as I stated earlier, what was my objective? Well, I was looking here. I'll go back to a 1-hour chart here. I was looking for this external liquidity, which I am going to mark out like this so we can see it easier on our lower time frame chart. And then I was looking for a continuation towards this low resistance, these equal highs, which yes, we did not reach. That was still the objective. And if you were searching for a low hanging fruit objective towards that range, you'd be looking at this swing high into this order block, this fair value gap, fair value gap order block combo. And you had standard deviations that line up, and we reached all the way to our 4 standard deviations. Was a beautiful move. So as you can see right here in our reversal range, we slowed down a little. Looking at a 1 minute chart, we'll see that it was end of session, right? So as I stated, we had open, low, expanded. If we're looking at the 1-hour power of 3, expanded to a high, retraced to a close, and then we consolidated for a while before continuing to expand in the afternoon, which I was not a part of. I was mainly out at this level, which was the drawn liquidity. So if we look at this setup really quickly, it looks very close. So to be able to trade this for me, that would mean 2R. And as you can see right here, 2R would entail that you're using this 3PD array stop loss rule. So you'd be using this fair value gap, this order block, and the liquidity below this swing low. So to me, that is not the type of trade I want my students to be taking, because this is under 2R. But if you had your stop loss right here, you could have, right? That's where there's a lot of, oh, well, if I did that, if I did that, if I did that, maybe you would have entered right here and you actually barely got 1R, you know? And yeah, Terrell, runner would have paid. My runner got stopped back at this level right here. I had my stop right here. I prefer to be a little tighter on a day like on a day where I'm anticipating that it is the manipulation and that we don't have a clear daily power of 3. That's exactly why I didn't take that trade, was under 2R. I love hearing that from you, Matt. Love hearing that from a student specifically. But see, it's like you're always going to miss setups. Always, always, always. And yes, with hindsight, you can say, oh, well, my stop was here. Okay, well, what if it traded back into this order block, stopped you out, wicked you out, and then went up? Well, the true stop, for me at least, following my specific rules, would be this swing low if you are entering on this unicorn. And with this low hanging fruit objective being too low, well, that's not high probability to me. And of course, you could have looked at targeting the reversal range, but as you guys know, if you looked at my thread on Twitter, well, you know that standard deviations of my breaker block are my highest probability, more specifically of the bodies, but when there's such a tight range, I prefer just using the full standard deviations. And as you can see right here, 4 standard deviations was this level. This might have been, see, I'm convincing myself that maybe that could have been a trade with my model. It could have, but let's just say that's not one that you should be mad if you missed, because that to your clear low-hanging fruit objective, that was too small a framework. To me, that is the only opportunity. And I'm always going back on this and always talking about how, oh, well, if you miss this one, there's no point, right? My students get vouched. They're probably pissed that I'm always saying stuff like that. But it's like, if you miss this expansion move, I don't want you entering in high resistance conditions. You're just going to get stopped 5 times before reaching your objective, right? By the way, if you're wondering what this box is, that is the hourly fair value gap. I'll just mark it out as a 1 minute for now. Here. Well, you know what? Let's do it correctly. 1 hour fair value gap right here. So to me, if you did not enter here, and yes, possibly held a runner, as I said, I got stopped out right here on my 1 contract runner. But if you want to hold a runner, then you can. And if you entered perfectly, you know, it's just if. You either enter at the right point, or you see if it gives you a continuation opportunity. But the truth is, there's never going to be as good an entry as the first one. So to me, if you miss that one, you missed your trade. Wait for another trade idea, right? That's just how I feel about these things. But at this point, it all comes down to personal preference. So it's not about, well, it's better to do this. It's I'm more comfortable and it's more stress-free with my psychology that I'm either getting the low risk entry, so the best entry possible. Well, possible. I'm not turtle souping everything like today, but I'm either getting the best entry or I'm getting no entry. So at least that's personal preference. So that's why I'm not going to be looking at further opportunities within consolidation, because as I said, you had a clean move and that was your opportunity. Again, I'm only looking at New York and I don't trade before the first high impact news of the day. So on that note, did you guys have any questions at all related on today? To me, that was just a clear 4-hour internal to external and beyond. I'm looking at chat. I don't see anybody typing. I'm guessing that was pretty straightforward. Easy 10 a.m. power of 3. Well, I don't like the word easy. Simple. Simple does not mean it's easy for everyone. Simple means you should be able to see it, and if you can't, well, let's teach you how. Straightforward. Yeah, straightforward, simple. I like that. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here. I was very glad to see you guys in big numbers. I hope that I will see you for the rest of the week in the price action reviews as well. Love that. And for those who missed it, it will be, well, for those who want to rewatch it, if I'm saying it now, it will be available on YouTube by for let's just say the next 2 hours max. So thank you guys. Have a great day, and we'll speak more on Thursday on our next trading day. Have a good one, guys.